Arts and Culture Trust Board. Melissa, good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Let's talk about that growth over the last 4 years. I mean, we just spoke to the Impact Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Mandy van der Spey. It is really about acknowledging changing lives for the better.
Look, I think it is very important to acknowledge the strides that have been made within the arts sector. But incidentally, I am the chairperson of the Arts and Culture Trust, an organization that has been in existence for 20 years. And Mandy van der Spey was honored in a new category that we have just launched in association with Classic Film magazine. And we were basically celebrating our 20 years in existence and the impact that we have had within the art sector.
Let's go back. Maybe, I don't know if it's an unfair question for you to help us reflect back on that 20 years, where we were and where we are now. If we look at money, if we look at the quality of the nominations, even if we look at the work that's been submitted or the participation of the public, just reflect on that for me.
Look, I think the arts has generally been a sector that gets on with things in spite of the circumstances within which it finds itself. Artists are constantly producing, whether there are funds available or not. And therefore the archive is a very wealthy one. The country has reflected on a lot of the stories and reflected on a lot of the history that has taken place within the country.
Let's look at the winners over the last couple of days. Just what were the surprises for you and the kind of names that you really have to look at and go, okay, that's a future star?
I think all of them are future stars, though. We take the selection process very seriously. And the board members that are involved within the process is also something that I think they hold quite near and dear to their hearts. The selection of people like Sam Zimmer, for example, for the visual arts, or at least the photographic Lifetime Achievement Award, is something that was reflected upon quite poignantly. I mean, he said that after he took that image of Hector Peterson, that was the last time he took photographs. He put his camera down after that. So for him to be acknowledged 20 years down the line within the democratic dispensation is something that is quite big.
It's a question I threw at Mandy, and we talked about the impact the awards is having on the industry as a whole. Just how do you reflect on that? Because, you know, you don't want to wax lyrical about impacts that awards have on the industry when the industry itself is still growing and finding itself.
Well, I think that this, as I mentioned before, I think this industry has actually grown in spite of everything. And it has, at least the Arts and Culture Trust has been able to be in a position to inform a lot of the different sectors within the arts. So the development, arts administration, masterclasses, ensuring that at least the archive is kept at a high standard. Advocacy issues. We have a conference that's coming up next year where we're looking at the association with entrepreneurship within the arts. So there are a lot of things that have at least try to ensure that we do have as much of an impact as we can have on the arts industry.
Art is making a better living now than they made, let's say, maybe 5-10 years ago?
I would say so, yes. Yes.
And how do we make sure that these young professionals coming into the industry, I mean, these awards, this recognition is amazing for a young artist, but I sometimes feel in the interviews we have that you've got an artist that's been recognized for amazing work, but he doesn't know how to move forward and grow so that he becomes a sustainable artist that can provide...
Look, you're absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons why we have the development and the training side of things, to at least ensure that once they are within the industry, they ensure that the administrative side of things is sorted out, the financial side of things is sorted out, the associations that they build, the structures that they build are sound, and they're able to manage the funds that do come in from the applications that they make to the various funding bodies, including ourselves.
Melissa, thank you very much for joining me here in studio. That's Melissa Goba, who's the chairman of the Arts and Culture Trust Board, and they recently held their award ceremony where Mandy van der Spey, who we interviewed earlier, won the Lifetime Achievement Award for Advocacy.